So I'm here on a very, very breezy evening at Macclesfield Golf Club. We're going to play the holes that weren't included in the first clip I did probably about a month ago, where I played 9 holes. I had to play them in a kind of a funny order, so we're playing 6 and 7 today, and then 12 through 18, which I think adds up to 9 holes. It's really, really windy. We're here on effectively my first, which is the 6th hole, 337 yards into the teeth of the wind. You can see it ahead of you, so let's see how we get on this evening. Well, I actually slipped a little bit then, but the result was okay, so I'm pleased with that. We're on our way. So just off the edge of the fairway, but in good shape. So I've got a half set with me today, but really today's one of those days where you don't want to be hitting full shots that go high in the wind and get blown around. So it's probably no bad thing to be, manufacturing shots, hitting little knockdown ones with a half or a 3/4 swing. So here I've probably got, I haven't got a rangefinder with me. I'm very analog, at least for now. So I've probably got no more than 110 yards to the hole. You'd think that would be a nice sort of wedge, but that's going to go too high. So I'm going to try, I've actually got even numbers, so I'm going to hit a little 8. Wow, the wind's, goodness me. That must have taken it 20 yards left when it got high in the air. And this is the problem, hitting off a slight upslope there, so effectively the 8 iron, turns into something like a 9. So anyway, we'll have to get up and down for par. So I'm going to hit, believe it or not, a 6 and see if I can keep it under the wind. So the wind really got that second shot, buffeted it, threw it offline. So I've got a little chip shot here. I've got to land it just on the fringe. It's not a good lie, but all that short game practice, will it prove worthwhile? I'm pretty pleased with that. Not bad. Shouldn't present any difficulty, says he. Straight putt. Me and my big mouth. So hole 7 is probably the most exposed tee on the golf course, but the reward is the view. Just magnificent view over the Peak District, the Cheshire Hills, the Derbyshire Hills, just gorgeous. So here we are, very short par 4, playing short today because it's downwind. So if you can keep it straight and keep your balance, then there's a chance you can get near the green here. So I'm going to go with driver. Let's see if we can really move it down there. So it's a solid strike. I pushed it a bit, but it should be over the trees and in a little bit of an open area just in the semi-rough. It's a really nice walk down towards this green. It's all downhill, opens out in front of you. It's a big 2-tier green, very, very long green, and the pin is cut rather inconveniently just over the just over the ridge. But I think my drive is probably long enough that I'm going to be coming in sideways from the side of the green, so hopefully with a decent lie I might have a chance for birdie. Actually not in great shape here. The rough, I thought it was in the semi, but there's some really healthy rough this side of the fairway. So I've got to somehow lob it high over the edge of the green and the bank of the bunker so it lands softly on the green. That's the theory. All goes in the bunker. Oh dear. So delicate little bunker shot here. Sand's pretty firm after all that rain we had yesterday. And not much green to work with. But other than that, it's quite straightforward. Two inches outside the right lip. Nice. Good up and down. Right, hole number 12. Oh, I do like this hole. It's such a pretty hole. It's really made for the stinger. If only I had that shot in my repertoire. It's a narrow fairway, slopes left or right. The marker post is probably a little bit further right than you should go. And then the view behind is gorgeous. So I'm going to go with the driver. Let's trust the swing into the teeth of the wind. Got to keep it smooth. A little bit left, but it'll be okay. Looking at the view down to the green, nice back. That drive, I really struck that well. It's got a bit of a bounce forward. It's probably only about 40 yards short of the pin. Just in the right rough, but I've got to go over the bunker. Very little green to work with, but it's into the wind, so it should be okay. Oh, a bit strong. On line, probably about 20 feet too far. So about 25 feet for birdie, perhaps a little bit right to left, but it's more about pace. Ooh. A nice effort. Didn't really break right to left at all. It's a dog leg left to right. You have to favour the right side with the tee shot, otherwise you get a bit blocked out. So it favours a nice high sort of fade. I think I have a slice in my repertoire. I'm not sure I've got a fade, but we'll see. And that's perfect. It was a high fade. Hey, I can do it. I didn't think I had that shot. Now, for some reason at this point, I lost the audio temporarily, so that's why there's a voiceover at this point. But it was a really nice drive. It left me with about 85 yards to the hole. You've got to be careful with this second shot that you don't sort of pull it left, because all the ground slopes right to left. You've got to allow for a little bit of right to left movement when it hits the green. So I favoured the right side. I went in with a 56 degree,
and hit a nice shot, maybe 20-25 feet right of the hole, left me with a decent putt for birdie. Now when I got on the green, I realised this was a really curvy putt. It was going to break significantly right to left, probably at least 2 feet outside the right lip. But as you'll see in a moment, this was one of the rare occasions when I judged it well, and a rare birdie on Golf 1660. You don't see these very often, but on this occasion I managed to nail this one. And of course, I was very happy. So just one more shot with the voiceover before the audio recovered. This is 14. It's a really nice little par 3. It's only 148 yards. The green sort of nestles down in a little dip, well bunkered. But it was into the teeth of the wind, hence a 6-iron from a relatively short distance. And I just tweaked it left a little bit, probably tried to sort of hold it up into the wind and turned it over slightly. And what on earth I'm doing with my foot there, some kind of weird dance, I don't know. But anyway, ended up in the bunker.
Right, now, this would normally be quite a straightforward bunker shot because there's plenty of green to work with. But I've been thinning a lot of these recently, but where I'm going into the sand, you know, well before the ball, and then it bounces up and sculls the ball over the green. So I'm going to play it with a slightly more square face and just see if I can make sure I dig into the sand more rather than using a lot of bounce on the bottom of the club. Let's see if it has an effect. I'm very pleased with that. So I did get under the sand then, or under the ball. Maybe that's what I've been doing wrong. I've been getting typically an open club face, and it's just been sculling it because it bounces too much. So perhaps in this situation, you need to stand more square and have the club face more square to the target rather than open. Oh, a bit hard. Fortunately, in the middle of the cup. Right, so hole 15, Macclesfield does sort of specialise in having a lot of these short par 4s, but they're really nice holes. I suppose the only consequence of that is that you don't tend to, you know, practice a range of iron shots because you're often hitting short irons in for your second. But nonetheless, they're fun holes to play. So it may be reachable today because it's downwind. You've got to favour the right hand side slightly because it kicks right to left. So probably a slight fade would help it. Well, it wasn't a great strike. Depends if it missed the bunkers. There's some bunkers down the right there. Right, so a good drive. Now if I were Phil Mickelson or someone who knew what they were doing with chipping, I'd just nip this off the turf, land it just on the green with lots of spin and nip, and it would nestle next to the hole. But this shot, well, I wouldn't say it fills me with dread, but it's not my strength. So I'm going to go with a wedge. I'm going to bump it into the bank and it should kick a little bit left, so I need to aim to the right. So let's see how we go with the, what is it? The long, languid backswing. That's the theory. Oh, that was nearly good. That was nearly good. I struck it well. Didn't quite pitch it far enough. Right, so we've got another chance for birdie. It's about What's this, about 14 feet away, I would say. That's very precise. It's definitely going to break right to left because everything goes this way on this green. I don't know, maybe 8 inches outside the right lip. Come on. Oh, that's not fair. That was a good putt. So incidentally, what I'm working on with my putting at the moment is I noticed, particularly on left to right breaking putts, that I had a sort of a loop on the putt. So I'll go back and then almost sort of try and pull it into the slope. And then it would often dribble down the hill. So I'm trying to make sure that I aim, you know, if it's a left to right putt like this is, I'm aiming maybe, you know, 4 inches outside the left lip, and then almost trying to do a reverse loop there and there, as opposed to there and there. So hopefully the ball will start straight at the target. Now with hole 16, you've got a really long walk back to the tee. So I've left the bag there, and it's one of those situations where I hope to goodness I get past the bag. Otherwise, you're in for the walk of shame. So that's what we have ahead of us. Fairway slopes right to left, but there's a ditch that runs all the way across the fairway. That's where the yellow stakes are in the distance. So I've actually got a 3-wood. I don't think I can reach the stakes with a 3-wood. If I really nail it, I might do, but we'll hope for the best. Oh, that was nice. So the ball will bounce to the left. We don't want to be going left because it falls away. So I'm going to grip right down the shaft of the club, because when the ball's above your feet you need to effectively shorten the club a little bit. And let's see if we can keep it off to the right. Well, I think it might be, it's a bit big, I think. So this is one of these situations where you think, well, should I putt or should I chip? So I'm going to chip, but I'm going to chip with a putting action with an 8-iron. It's something I was practicing the other day, because I can loft it, you know, just about on the green and then let it run up, but I'm going to use a putting action. And it's going to break quite a bit right to left. Let's see how we go. Now I didn't pitch it far enough because it landed on, let's try that one again, it landed on the fringe instead of the green. That's what I meant to do. More practice needed. I was actually surprised that approach shot was short. I thought it was bounding over the back, but there's a bit more dead ground than I thought. Maybe 3 inches outside the right lip. Quite a bit of break on this. Putting better today. That was good. Right, hole 17, my 8th tonight. 388 yards, par 4. It's steeply uphill, it bends around to the right, The fairway slopes right to left quite severely, so you probably need to hit a fade, again just to counteract the slope. And it should be a bit downwind today. It's okay, it's a little bit toey, so it just got a bit of hook spin on it, but it's just in the left semi. It should be okay. So just while we're walking up 17, I'll just mention what happened yesterday. I played at my old club, Fairhaven, yesterday in Lytham St Anne's. It's near Blackpool in the northwest of England, and my good friend Gary Lee invited me to play in the invitation day. And little did I know that after a hour and 40-minute journey, I would play 6 holes and then be dispatched home, not because of anything I did wrong, but because of a violent thunderstorm, the likes of which I'd never seen before, that brought the klaxon out. The course became flooded, and that's a links style course. It's sand underneath, it drains very, very well, but it flooded in minutes. And you probably had something similar if you live in the UK. Okay, so it's getting a bit dark and threatening with the clouds, so it's probably a good job we're on the 17th. So I've got 8 iron, about 145 yards to go, steeply uphill but downwind as well. And you want to favour the right hand side if possible. And that was a bit chunked, but we'll see. So I couldn't be much further away from the hole here. It's probably about 50 feet. Up quite a steep slope. The terrain goes this way down to my left, but there's actually a shoulder on the green which looks like it'll push the ball to the right, so whether one will counteract the other I'm not sure. So this is this is odd because I'm right on just in front of a high fringe. So I may have to slightly top the ball here. I won't be able to get to the circumference or the middle of the ball. Whoa, stop. Not bad. Maybe just slightly outside, but no dribbling off to the right. Pleased with that. Right, nice par 3 to finish, 171 yards downhill. It's probably a 7 iron for me, but I haven't got one, so it would either be a hard 8 or a little dinky 6, so I'm going to hit a little dinky 6. Hook. Well, that will do. It's just off the fringe at the back, but the pin's right at the back, so it's not far away from the hole. So quite pleased with that. This is our 9th hole tonight. I hope you've enjoyed this 9 holes here at Macclesfield. It's been a blustery evening. It's been a little bit dull and overcast, but it's been quite fun to do this tonight. I've played a bit better tonight than last time and putted better. My short game's been better, and it would be really nice if I could finish with a birdie, finish on a high. So we've got about 15 feet for birdie. About the first 2 feet of it is on the fringe, or over the fringe, and it slopes downhill, so it's actually quite quick, this putt. So I do not want to be racing it past. Might go a little bit to the left or right, but it's mostly about pace because it's quick. Give it a little bit of left to right, but not much. Oh, I thought I had that. Thought I had it. Never mind. Well, that's a 3. A better round of golf. So I hope you've enjoyed this latest episode of Golf 1660. It was really fun to show you the rest of the holes at Macclesfield. You've seen the whole golf course now, the course where I've now joined, I'm a member. But I guess I need to be realistic and admit that it's not the longest golf course. I'll be challenging myself on more difficult golf courses over the coming weeks and months to see whether my technique holds up under that sort of greater pressure. And also today I've played, there was nothing at stake in a way. There was no pressure, it wasn't a competition. When there's a pencil and a scorecard in my hand, it's a different matter. And also I'll be playing golf with some other people as well. You won't just be having to watch me play. I think it's going to be much more interesting to see how I get on with other people playing. We'll have some great competition and some great conversations as well. So stay tuned, do subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.